Hi everyone, I'm Mel and welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. So the episode today on Thriver TV is a question and answer show, and I have a Facebook message from a lady named Danielle, and she said, Melanie, why shouldn't we focus on educating people about narcissists as the main mission? So Danielle, this is a really good question. And I also had a lady on one of my latest YouTube, she posted a lengthy comment and in it included this. She said, Melanie, you're a hero in my eyes. Your mission is the work of an injured soul that won't ever be kept down. I'm not quite sure if that's a compliment or not. But please, please, please step it up a notch and be the voice to stop this malignancy from destroying more lives. Bring awareness to the different levels of narcissistic abuse and sickness. Be the voice that exposes these true criminals for what they do with awareness and intent. Right, okay, well, let's get into this topic. So, you know, it can be a really normal thing and very logical that we think that the world needs to know more about narcissists. So we think, well, you know, if we can just expose them and if we can just learn more about them, well, then we're going to be able to arm ourselves and we're going to be able to protect ourselves from these people better if we call them out. But, you know, the thing is, there is already countless groups doing this on the internet. There are all sorts of abuse forums that are screaming from the rooftops about narcissists and, you know, everything about them and everything you need to know about them and how terrible and how bad they are and the evil monsters that they are. And then there's even people from these groups that even on their own Facebook personal timelines that they are doing posts over and over again all about narcissists, you know, everything ranging from what they eat to how they look at you sideways. But, you know, the thing is, are these members, are their traumas lessening? Is what's happening to them via the narcissist, is that stopping, or are they getting relief from that? Are they able to get legal systems and personnel to back them up? Or are they just handing the narcissist more bullets to abuse them with? You know, so maybe we need the authorities to step up. Maybe, you know, that's what we need to do. But how do the authorities really know the difference between a narcissist and a victim? Because at times that can be really, really hard to tell the difference. And then, you know, even if we could, you know, because they could make a mistake. And then we know that happens anyway. And then even if you could accurately really say, okay, well, this is an emotional abuser, this is a narcissist, how do you hold them accountable? Because narcissists are never accountable. So accountability would have to be something like you throw them all in jail and the system's already packed and overloaded. Or maybe we stick them all on an island like Alcatraz. Goodness knows where that island would be. Or maybe we just line them all up and shoot them. So the reality is this is all insane notions. Like really insane notions. So, you know, initially, absolutely, it's, you know, really helpful to understand what a narcissist is and learn about them and to realize that they're an unconscious individual. And what that really means is that they have not realized that they are the generative source of their own experience. And what that means is that they're not taking responsibility for their inner traumas, their wounds in their subconscious that are actually generating their maladaptive behavior. And unless they were ever going to get vulnerable and real with those inner wounds and take responsibility for them and do the healing work on them, these people are never going to change. So we can understand. And, you know, the worst thing you could ever do to a narcissist is say, well, look, you're a wounded child in an adult body and you really need to go to your traumas and heal them. You know, that's the best way to actually get rid of get a narcissist out of your life completely, because that is the thing that they do not want to face the most. That's the mask coming down. they're not going to do that. If they really have narcissistic personality disorder, they're never going to do that. They're never going to heal that. They're never going to be responsible for that. So we understand that it's really impossible to have an evolutionary, safe, healthy, productive, growing relationship with this person. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. So when we understand that, that can be very, very helpful. But the thing is, if we think that knowing all about narcissists and calling them out is the answer, we really need to think again, because, I want to share with you some facts that I have seen consistently over the last 8 years of working on this Thriver mission to help people recover. And the first one is that there are countless people who are still in relationships with narcissists, who know that they're narcissists, who are still hooked, who are still not letting go, regardless of the knowledge that they have about them. And the reason is because if we're not addressing the number one reason why we're susceptible and still hooked to narcissists, which is not being self-partnered in our body, if we're not addressing that, if we're not self-partnered, what happens is we're not with our own emotional being, listening to our own GPS, to our own guidance system. We're not honouring it. We're not backing it up. We're also not a generative source of our own love and approval and our own peace and fullness and calm within. We don't have the ability to self-soothe. So what that means is that we're codependently looking outside of ourselves to others for our approval and our love and our worth. And then what happens is, because we don't believe that we're lovable for ourselves, we create a false self. And this false self is a version codependently trying to please others to win approval and win love. We're unconsciously giving to get and not realizing that. And what happens when we're not self-partnered is we are going to hold people responsible for the healing of our own traumas, childhood traumas, and generational and DNA traumas that are not allowing us to be self-partnered. And we do this with the people, ironically, that are hitting us with our own wounds. We try to get them to be the role model that this time will do it differently. And then when this person isn't stepping up and actually taking responsibility for that and fixing it for us, well, then we get really indignant and we get really righteous and we get really angry and upset and disappointed, and we try to hold this person responsible. And that's when we hang on and we shame and blame and we get very resentful and hurt. So we want to call them out. We want to punish them. We want them to be exposed for not providing us with our life. That's the truth. So this is why people can be really hooked and connected to narcissists regardless of how much they know, because these people are deeply unconscious. They're not healing their childhood traumas that will actually release them from that trauma bonding and the playing out of what they are with narcissists. So the second thing about narcissists, and I'm just going to get this ready and I'll scroll down because it's just a really good thing that a lady wrote on my Facebook page. This is all about this. But the second thing is that so many people have, after being narcissistically abused, really primed themselves with a ton of information and knowledge and study everything that they can know about narcissists so that hopefully it will never happen to them again. And this can even be people that are doing personal development, they're doing healing work, but they've still missed some inner traumas that have made them susceptible to an abuser. It's the gap that abuser can work with them, can come into their life. Sort of like we've still got a bleeding cut and we're in the water, and sharks can still come. And this is what Sylvia wrote about this. She said, after I realised that I'd been narcissistically abused, I researched the subject so thoroughly I could have written a book on it, but I still kept on attracting them. The reason for this was I still had unconscious beliefs relating to being less than and only being here to serve others. Also, a frightened inner child was still in charge of so many situations and interactions in my life. A child who was terrified of punishment and abandonment. There were so many more anomalies. That word's hard. Anomalies through which narcissists could enter. The real work definitely needs to be inner investigation of childhood wounds and false beliefs, not ongoing obsessive research and witch hunting of narcs. I love that word because that's what goes on. Narcs just are. They are a fact of life. They're like pins. And if we carry a magnet around, we're going to attract them. We need to find and heal exactly what it is that's magnetizing them to us. So the third point, the fact that I've seen over and over is that over the last 8 years, I've had dozens of emails from people that did not get into relationships with narcissists, who dodged them really, really quickly, but then found out what they were and then they contacted me. And this is really quite fascinating because these are people that they felt something was off. And they laid boundaries, they didn't go any further, whether it be a business or a personal relationship or a love relationship or whatever it was. And they laid boundaries with this person. And then what happened is the mask dropped and the narcissist reacted, in that really sort of childish, narcissistic way. And these persons detached. And they didn't play in, they didn't try to fight it back, they didn't try to get approval, they just went, whoa, this is crazy. And there was a couple of people that had put intervention orders on because of the nastiness that came out. But the narcissists were really, really powerless to affect them. And they Googled the behaviour, found out it was a narcissist, emailed me and said, oh my God, I had no idea that these people existed and this is what happened. But the really important point about this is whether or not these people had ever found out it was a narcissist, there was no way known they were ever going to get involved. And the reason was because these are people that were self-partnered and full enough in their body that they didn't second guess their intuition. They went, oh, this feels really like rubbish. There's something not right here. So they didn't proceed. And they stood up, they laid boundaries, they spoke their mind. And when the narcissist came out with those disgusting things that, the really low blows, they went, yeah, whatever. There was no need to change the narcissist's mind in order for them to feel okay about themselves. And no need to fight back, just detach, oh, not my reality. So we really need to understand that it is absolute rubbish that anybody can get taken in by a narcissist. They can't get taken in by a narcissist. So, we can understand some really important things by these three facts that I have seen over and over again, that people who know about them can still be desperately hooked into them. People that know everything about them may continue to create relationships with them, regardless of the research and everything that they do know. And people that have known nothing about narcissists don't get involved with them. So we really need to understand that knowing everything about narcissists and calling them out from the rooftops as vehemently as we can has got nothing to do with whether or not we're going to initially not get involved with them, whether or not we're going to stay with them, or whether we're actually going to stay out or get away from them, or whether we're going to be able to change a trajectory of abuse in our lives, and whether or not we're going to be safe in the future. It's got nothing to do with information. It's got everything to do with the work inside our bodies on our original traumas and our gaps and our lack of self-partnering that makes us matches for these people. So, just in closing, I want to share a couple of other really amazing posts that were put up on my Facebook page on this topic. And this one's from Val, and she says, regardless of how much knowledge, mind, information people have, Tiggy, you need to get off my notes. Tiggy always needs to be in on these videos. Stop making noise. We're not supposed to be making noise on YouTube. Tiggy went missing for a day and a half and he's grounded at the moment, so he's acting out, as children do. So this is what Val said: regardless of how much knowledge, mind, information people have, it's not a protection, it's a fear-based focus. Our vibration and our subconscious programs draw to us what we focus on and emotionally and spiritually align with. Knowledge and education about healthy relationships, abusive relationships, has a role. However, our individual, collective, community mission, meaning the Thriver mission, is focusing on empowering ourselves and each other to create the lives and the world we do want, healing our wounds and aligning our energy with that. And as we do, we create a brighter, kinder, safer world for all. And this is what Jennifer wrote. She said the answer: because I knew something was off about him. I knew something was terribly wrong, but I needed to wish I had known how to love myself and how to be whole without anyone else. Looking back, I know that being educated about narcissists would never have helped. But had I been whole, I never would have been taken in by one. And as I wrote back to her, I couldn't have put that more simply or more succinctly myself. That was just an incredible sum up of this whole topic. And as she said, the answer, it is the answer. So I hope that that's really helped. And if you're enjoying these shows, please subscribe to my channel and also comment and share. That would be lovely. And also too, if you haven't as yet received your Get Started kit, which has a lot of resources in there to help you heal from narcissistic abuse, you can do that by subscribing to my New Life newsletter. And I'd love you to come into my next webinar, which is the 3 keys to thriving after narcissistic abuse. And that's a 3-hour teleclass where I teach you how to get self-partnered, how to heal and up-level those original traumas that have made you susceptible, and how to really heal from narcissistic abuse in the Thriver way. So that's it for me, everybody. Keep smiling and keep thriving, because there's really nothing else to do. So lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye.